Hello and welcome to another edition of Beat the Bookie. I'm your host, Will Scott, here to make you some money. As always, we got $100 to give out of Benjamin Franklin. But before we get to the bets, let's see how all the hosts have done thus far this season. And oh, would you look at that? Your boy is in first place, a net gain of $26.71. Not bad. Whenever we're making money, that's a good thing. LSU came up huge for us last week. But let's do even better this week, starting with our big games. Georgia against Auburn. The over-under for this game is at 40.5. I get that these are two really good defenses, but that is a really low line. If both teams score in the 20s, which seems likely, the over hits. So give me $10 with that over. Moving on to Iowa and Minnesota. The Gophers coming off the big win against Penn State, but yet they come in as a 3-point underdog. I'm not convinced the Hawkeyes can run with this Minnesota offense. They're just averaging 12 points per game against top 25 teams this season and are 0-3 in those matchups. Minnesota, on the other hand, just hung up 31 on the number 4 team in the nation. I'm going to buy a half point to get that line up to 3.5. I'd be a little surprised if the Gophers don't win this, but I'd be shocked, and I mean shocked, if they don't come within 3 points. That's a $10 bet to net $8. Moving on to Baylor and Oklahoma. The Bears, a 10.5-point dog. I mean, they're flying under the radar, 9-0, the committee ranking them at 13. I wasn't really impressed with Oklahoma last week. I thought that they were going to dominate, coming off a loss at Kansas State. They only beat Iowa State by 1 point at home. I think the Sooners win this game, but going on the road will be a challenge. Give me $10 on the Bears to cover. To the SEC we go. Number 5, Alabama, going on the road to Mississippi State. This is a great opportunity to make some money in Stark Vegas. With Tua Tagovailoa's status up in the air, that's really affecting the line. It's at 19 right now, but you got to remember his backup can ball. Mac Jones had a great start against Arkansas when Tua was out, and Bama's going to be coming into this one playing angry after the loss to LSU. Nick Saban hasn't lost back-to-back games since 2007. So with that being said, with or without Tua, Bama by $1 million against a bad Mississippi State team. I got $15 on it. Let's head from Stark Vegas to Ames, Iowa. Iowa State hosting number 19 Texas. The Cyclones are a 7-point favorite. I mean, I get it. They're a good team. Took Oklahoma down to the wire last week. But beating Texas by more than 7? I don't know. The Longhorns got a big win against Kansas State last week. This will be a really close game. I don't see any team winning it by more than a touchdown. Because of that, I'm putting down $15 for Texas with the spread. Here we go. Georgia State versus Appalachian State. You let me down last week, Georgia State. How do you beat Tennessee and lose to UL Monroe? I don't get it. But you know what, Georgia State? I've been riding with you. I'm going to keep riding with you. You shouldn't be a 17-point dog at home. Georgia State's undefeated at home this season, and their average margin of victory in the ATL is 14 points. On top of that, this could be a letdown game for the Mountaineers after a big win at South Carolina. A solid team like Georgia State isn't losing their biggest home game of the year by 17. Put me down for $15 on the Panthers plus 17. Last week, my mortal lock was Illinois plus 14. They won the dang football game. This week, let's head out west for my mortal lock. UCLA at number 7. Number 7, Utah. I mean, I try not to laugh. Really, playoff committee? How is Utah number 7 ranked ahead of Minnesota? More importantly, how are they a 21.5-point favorite against a UCLA team that's playing really, really well as of late? 3 straight wins, all of those W's by double digits against conference opponents. I'm telling you, UCLA could very well win this game. But let's play it safe and take the spread, which seems like a pretty safe bet. $20 on UCLA. Now for our parlay. Temple, a 5.5-point dog at home against Tulane. I like Temple. Their Memphis is only lost. I like the spread with the Owls especially. Texas A&M money line should be a give me at home against South Carolina. I got Syracuse plus 10.5 against Duke. You know what happens when two really bad teams get together? It's close. And then Rutgers plus 53.5? I mean, that's the largest line I've ever seen against Ohio State. Rutgers has not lost a game this season by more than 52 points. Let's pray that doesn't happen again Saturday. Because of that, I like this to finish out our parlay. Low risk, high reward with a $40 payout on a $5 bet. So to recap with our bankroll review, $10 on Georgia and Auburn in that game to cover. Also $10 on Minnesota and Baylor. The Tide should roll this week. I got Texas and Georgia State covering. $15 on those 3 games. My mortal lock is UCLA against Utah, and then our 14 parlay. Come on, Rutgers, don't let me down. Well, thanks for tuning into another edition of Beat the Bookie. Enjoy a great weekend of college football and a great weekend of money making.